If you've been following my channel from the beginning, you remember back in 2015, I had a series right here on the channel called Talk Dragon Ball, and it was a podcast with me and Super Jan. Well, I've decided to bring the podcast back, except in a different kind of format. We're going to do a roundtable discussion as these videos come out about, well, Dragon Ball topics. So, welcome to the first edition of Talk Dragon Ball Reincarnate. No, wait. Resurrected, not reincarnated. That's two different things. Don't get excited, Anon. Don't get excited. That's two different things. But welcome to the show. And today our topic is we're going to talk about Gohan in Dragon Ball Super Superhero, who is supposed to be the superhero of the movie. So let me go ahead and introduce our panel today. First of all, right below me is from the Toonami Faithful podcast. Please welcome Laser Kid. What's up?
Hey everybody, how's it going?
Somebody who's been watching anime for how many years? 35?
However long it's been since 1994.
I'm not doing the math on that right now.
Neither am I.
30 something. All right, and
It's
then
a while.
And then over here we have Anand from AnimeHunch.com, right?
Yep. What's up, guys?
Yes, thank you for joining us, bro. And over here in the corner, we have from the Jordan the Dragon Lee YouTube channel, Jordan, what's up?
What's up, guys?
All right, so today we're talking about Gohan in the new movie. And I wanted to discuss this with y'all because there's a lot of hype around this. Gohan was not anywhere to be found in Dragon Ball Super Broly. He was pretty not in the movie at all. Not pretty, he was not in the movie at all. And now he's got a lot to do in this movie. The report that came out recently was that he's got at least 3 fights in the film, and he's going to be focused on quite a bit. You know, when I had first heard that back last summer, I was like, okay, well, that's interesting. Not thinking they were really going to do it. Like, I thought, I knew he was legit going to be focused on, but not to the degree that he's on the front of every poster. Him and Piccolo are, like, legit the primary focus. So, my first question is I'm gonna ask all you guys, but I'm gonna go in order. I'm gonna go from Anand to Jordan to Laser. My first question is, because Gohan and Piccolo are the main leads of this movie, there's been speculation that Goku, Vegeta, and Broly are only gonna have a minuscule amount of scenes. Now I don't know how many they're gonna have, but we know they're training on Beerus' planet with Whis, and we know that they're probably gonna be involved at the end, but it still seems to be Gohan's story. So what do you think of this decision that was made to basically put Goku, Vegeta, and Broly on the back burner? I think it's a little bit ballsy, and thankfully Gohan is popular enough to make it work. But Anand, what do you think about this decision, and do you think that it's true that they're going to have just a couple scenes and that's it? What do you think?
Not the first time they did that. For Broly's second coming, they had Gohan, they had Goten, Trunks, Videl. No sign of Goku at all in that movie, except for that one scene when Shenron appeared. That was just one scene that he appeared, but it's not like it's not been done before. So, and since Toriyama is the one who's writing this part, I'm just looking forward there. He would do justice for Gohan and Piccolo as well, because he's been saying a lot of times that Piccolo was one of his favorite characters, along with Satan, and he was
You were gonna say the H word. You were gonna say, I saw you were gonna say it, but you know where you're at right now, and that word's banned from this channel. Go ahead, bro.
Yep. So yeah, he was having an intention to put Gohan as the next lead role after the Cell Saga, but of course he he understood that Gohan doesn't like fighting. In that sense, he wanted to put Goku in the main thing. So, but does that mean that Gohan and the others have no role in that? It's definitely not true, because even in the manga also he's been playing a big role, especially in the recent arcs. It's ever been there. And in this new movie, because they have specifically mentioned that this is focused on Earth, it's a time for the Earth's defense force to shine as much as possible, because Goku and Vegeta are just protecting are training themselves to to get more stronger and to protect the universe as a whole scale. But in terms of Earth's defense force, because Goku has said that to Oob that you will be a good leader as he comes, but now Gohan, Piccolo, and the others will have the chance to shine when it comes to Earth's defense forces when the Earth is in danger. So that's why I feel that it's a good decision for Gohan Piccolo and to put in the face while Goku and Vegeta does what they want.
I think a lot of fans are happy because the focus is not on Goku and Vegeta, which I am, because even the Granola and Moro arcs, it's Super's been the Goku and Vegeta show. Even the Trunks arc was Goku, Vegeta, and Trunks, and putting them maybe not all the way in the back burner, but like in the back, like you have like if you ever play Final Fantasy, you have the front row and the back row. Put them in the back row just a little bit and let Gohan have his time. I think a lot of fans are suspicious that they might be doing this to kind of elevate Gohan to be closer to Goku and Vegeta so that way they do something with them later, which they could. That could be what's going on, but it could also be something that just Toriyama wanted to write this story and he gets inspiration from weird places. So Jordan, what do you think about this decision to put Goku and Vegeta and Broly not as the leads of this one?
I think there's more to the decision than people really think. Goku and Vegeta have progressed a lot as characters, and they've been the focus of Super. So, you know, it seems to me like if they're wanting to create more content that doesn't have a lot of bearing on the story and it's just fun to play with, they can just mess with Gohan. They can just play with Gohan and Piccolo. It's more so to me just like trying to create content consistently without contradicting too much. Also, Piccolo and Gohan have a lot of room to grow. You
Big
know,
time.
they are in a sense like kind of their own Goku and Vegeta in a sense, but they have more of a close relationship, of course. And I think that's something that they're probably going to play on in this film, of course, because I mean we've seen, you know, Piccolo's babysitting Pan, yada yada yada. But you know, we've seen that Piccolo has a new form. We don't know what exactly that new form is about or why it exists, but I'd say it probably has something to do with the fact that Gohan, more than anybody, I mean, Goku did help Piccolo become a better person, but I would assume that this transformation would not be possible if it wasn't for the effect that everyone had on Piccolo and cleansing him of being the Demon King, like his dad. So, I'd say that that transformation probably lore wise will have something to do with the fact that Piccolo's like pure in a sense than he's ever been, especially considering the fact that he's going after Pan. Um, I think I just think it's overall a good decision, from a writing standpoint, from a fan service standpoint. I know not everybody's going to agree because most people who prefer a character, they prefer that character and they're very consistent about that. You got people who prefer Broly over everyone else, Vegeta, Goku, yada, yada, yada. And, to those people, it can seem like a disservice. But you've also got people out there who have been wanting Piccolo and Gohan to get some shine for a really, really long time. You know, I don't think anybody who's got a preference in characters when it comes to Dragon Ball should be greedy. You know what I mean? We should be open to the idea that everybody needs character development, everyone needs screen time. And Piccolo and Gohan mean a lot to Toriyama. Their dynamic in early Dragon Ball Z was some of the coolest stuff in the series. It's iconic. Yeah, I think that they as characters need to be expanded on more. So I don't have an issue at all with the fact that they're moving away from Goku, Vegeta, and Broly, especially given the fact that Goku and Vegeta are getting a ridiculous amount of, you know, uh, development in this arc, as we've seen in the manga. And, Broly, we haven't seen a whole lot from him. It's very obvious that they're trying to keep him a movie exclusive character. So to expect that we get a lot of content from Broly is kind of a dream. You know what I mean? Like it's just not something that's based in reality. So I don't see the problem with having a movie about Gohan and Piccolo.
No, I don't either. I think we're gonna get more Broly in the future too. I mean, I agree with everything you said. It's just that I know that some people out there, man, you know this, like the Vegeta fans are gonna be like, dude, what is like? There's been talk that Goku and Vegeta are not gonna use UI and UE in the movie. That's just fan speculation. We don't know for sure, but it's like I do feel like now, if Goku uses UI and Vegeta uses UE, it's gonna take away from Gohan and Piccolo. I think it will take away from them, and I feel like as much as I want to see UI on the big screen and UE animated, I'm okay with them holding off again. I know some people are gonna be like, no, I want to see UI finally on the big screen. I don't know, man. Like, it's I could see both sides of it. I could see fans getting pissed because they want more Goku and more Vegeta, but This is not their story, and people need to accept that. It's the same thing that I said during Broly. There were all these Gohan fans going nuts during Broly, and I'm like, dude, it's not his story. Dragon Ball Super Broly is about Goku, Vegeta, Broly, and their fathers. That's the why they had the flashback, because the three survivors and the three fathers and their stories. This is not really about that. If this is going to be about fathers, it's going to be about Gohan being the father to Pan, or Piccolo being the surrogate father / uncle to Gohan, and however their relationship is, more than, you know, Paragus. Like that story's already been told. So Laser Kid, your thoughts on the choice of having Gohan as the main character?
I think I echo a lot of what's been said, but I'm beyond being ballsy. It's really awesome to see some story threads picked up on, because we had in the entirety of Dragon Ball Super Gohan going, oh, maybe I should practice more. Maybe I need to be stronger to protect the people I care about. It's not that I love fighting, but I love the people around me, and I need to be strong enough to protect them, and I can be. We see this in Resurrection F a little bit, and we really see this in the Tournament of Power. And then that thread just sort of dropped. So I, for one, am actually really excited to see this plot thread picked back up and see Gohan grow, see him go into a new stage. We've seen him go from, you know, I am the new lead character, which didn't last, which a lot of Gohan fans get, you know, understandably upset at, because, you know, he got elevated and then dropped. And then he goes into more of the scholarly character. I think we're going to see kind of a fusion of the two going forward, where he's got both aspects of himself, and I think that'll be really interesting to see how it gets developed. And I mean, then there's Piccolo. We always have him around. We always have him be the smart one, as it were. But when's the last time he had development? It's really nice to see focus on characters that aren't the main two. Now, don't get me wrong. I love Goku and Vegeta just fine, and Dragon Ball Super Broly is probably my favorite piece of Dragon Ball fiction in a long, long time. But that doesn't mean I don't want to see other characters grow. One of the things I really liked about Battle of Gods is that everyone got a little moment to shine. Not any major stuff, but, you know, you got to see everyone do something, and that was fun. So it's nice to see other characters get the focus that I think they deserve.
Yeah, no, I agree with you. The thing is, and this time we're going to go the other way. Gohan and Piccolo are going to get new forms. Or no, well, Piccolo's going to get a new form. Gohan's going to get stronger. He might get a new form, but we just know he gets stronger. But I still don't think... See, here's kind of where I'm at with that. I think I'm glad they're putting the focus on them, but in the back of my head, and probably in the back of a lot of fans' heads, they're probably still not going to be at Goku and Vegeta's level. They're probably not. And it's going to take a lot more training, a lot more arcs, a lot more story to get them at the level. Now, me personally as a fan, I'm okay with that, but at the same time, in the back of my head, I'm like, you know... They're gonna try to elevate Gohan, but also it's almost like Gohan and Piccolo are in the shadow of Goku and Vegeta. Like they're never gonna overcome that shadow. And so, do you think this will be a fundamental problem going forward? I mean, I think the story of the movie should be enough to carry it, whatever the message of this movie is. But I also think that, like, I don't mind them not being as strong as Goku and Vegeta, but I think, once again, I try to look at things from other people's perspective sometimes and think, you know, that might piss off some people. Say, you know, you're going to have debates where people are going to... I guarantee you, unless they say it in this movie, people are going to be debating Piccolo's new form versus UE. It's going to happen. And you're going to have your Piccolo and Gohan fans, you know, wanking them because people love to wank their favorite characters, and then vice versa. So... I'm going to start with Laser Kid this time and go the other way. Do you think Gohan and Piccolo, even after this film, are going to be in the shadow of Goku and Vegeta? Or am I just overthinking it?
No, I don't think you're overthinking it, because ultimately, Goku and Vegeta are the protagonist and deuteragonist of the franchise. They're always going to get the most development. They're always going to be the strongest characters. And I don't say that because neither of them are my favorite character, but I like them. But they are the focus. They are the main characters. That's going to happen. Honestly, in the back of my head, I think the thing that I think would be a mistake is have Goku and Vegeta show up at the last second and save the day. If we're going to make this Gohan story, he doesn't have to become as powerful as Goku and Vegeta, but he needs to solve the problem.
I'm okay with Goku and Vegeta helping, But you're right.
Sure, absolutely.
They can't be the ultimate winners here. I'm sorry. Continue. You were saying.
No, it's fine. It just yeah, if it's like if it's the Boo arc all over again, where Gohan is here to save the day. Oh, now we've got Buhan, and then Goku and Vegeta show up and fuse, and Vegeta kicks butt. That's cool, but if you're gonna make a movie about Gohan, don't do that.
Jordan.
Well, here's the thing. I kind of think they are going to do that because Gohan's only
It's a
real
fear.
motivation in the
It is
fight
fair.
is getting Pan, right? And the trailer we saw, Pan is sitting right there behind Gamma 1 and 2, ready to be rescued with Piccolo, you know. So it would not shock me at all if, Gohan just gets really mad against Gamma 1 and 2, wins, saves Pan, and then, maybe that other threat pops up and they need Goku and Broly and Vegeta's help. I could see that being the case. But as far as it being an issue moving forward, it seems to me that Goku and Vegeta's destiny is being taken off Earth. And I think Gohan and Piccolo, the reason they're kind of expanding on them and like making them seem like these heroic figures for Earth is because, they're the next, people in line to protect Earth whenever Goku and Vegeta go do whatever they're going to do. I was just talking to Chris Sabat at that con yesterday, and he was talking about how a lot of fans have told him they don't think that Vegeta's going to become a destroyer. Personally, I think it would be hilarious that the first job that Vegeta got, his first day job, was just like a temporary destroyer. You know what I mean? Like, I just think that would be hilarious because it's like the perfect job for him. He doesn't have to be gone all the time. Beerus is there constantly anyway. So it's not like he has to be gone all the time. So in a sense, it's kind of just like a comedic way of giving Vegeta a job, right? So Vegeta, I could see him just like going and doing his thing, going and doing his job, right? And Goku, like his destiny has always been outside of Earth. I mean, we know that he's got a universal presence.
Right.
I mean, he's friends with Zeno now. The Grand Priest is infatuated with him. He's training Oob to be the protector of Earth at the end of Z. So it's like it's very obvious to me that Vegeta and Goku, their territory as far as like where they protect and where they're relevant is expanding. So I think that's kind of the reason they're trying to develop Gohan and Piccolo. And I don't really see it as an issue because, a lot of people, we all know that it's coming to the point now where Goku and Vegeta are reaching their maximum potential within the story. I mean, that's undeniable at this point. I mean, how much farther are Goku and Vegeta going to go? Let's just say worst case scenario, Vegeta or Goku makes it to the Grand Priest. Like, there's where do you go from there? He's already low key keeping up with Whis. Beerus is getting ready to have Vegeta to contend with. So it's like it's the levels just keep getting raised higher and higher. So I don't see Vegeta and Goku being relevant just on Earth for very long.
Well,
so I don't see.
Yeah, I like your idea. I think what would be great is if we actually do get the long-awaited Sadala arc. What they should do, and it's something they haven't done in Dragon Ball since the Z era, because Super did not do this at all, and it's all because of the way Toriyama writes now. Toriyama's writing style now compared to how it was back in the day is completely different. Totally different. Because what I think would be great is Goku and Vegeta do go off to Planet Sadala, and while they are there, something bad happens on Earth, and it's up to Gohan and Piccolo. Sort of like what they did with the Garlic Jr. saga, except you do two different cutaways. You have Goku and Vegeta's story here, you have Gohan and Piccolo's story here. I would love that, but Toriyama doesn't write like that anymore. Like, he just doesn't. Like, we haven't seen anything like that in a while. And it would not only make the arc longer, it would also make it infinitely more interesting. I feel like one of the problems with Dragon Ball Super compared to the old stuff is that the old arcs actually felt like you had Act 1, Act 2, Act 3. Like, it felt like an ongoing thing. Trunks shows up, they have to train for the androids. Oops, it's the wrong androids. Then the right ones come along, kick our ass. Then Cell shows up. So you have like this ebb and flow of a story where you're not really sure where it's going to go. These modern arcs now, they're a lot shorter, and they seem to have a lot less drama because once they get to the end stage, like, that's it. Like, the Trunks arc was just back and forth, future past, and it wasn't like it wasn't written the same way. So I would like it if they did something where they did split them off in a natural way, like how Dragon Ball Z Goku was kept out of the story for the most of the show. He was dead in the Saiyan saga. He was on his way to Namek on the Frieza saga. He had a heart virus in the Cell saga, and he was dead for half of the Buu saga. So like, they always figured out ways to write them out, and I think having them go to Sadala or somewhere else with the Galactic Patrol, whoever, and write them out and let Gohan do his thing on Earth, I think that would be a great idea. But will they actually do that? I don't think Toriyama writes like that anymore. So, Anand, go for it.
Yeah, I think fans have this idea that, stronger character means more character development. That's not exactly how Dragon Ball, would exactly work in that way also. Because, as I mentioned before, Toriyama likes Satan a lot more. He likes Satan a lot, along with Piccolo as well. Now, Satan is definitely not a strong guy at all, but he has been a part of the storytelling, especially when it comes to the Boo saga. He's been a good progression in terms of changing Boo on who he is. So, in that sense, also, Gohan, and as the others mentioned also, the Goku and Vegeta could be, they are definitely reaching the highest stakes because Vegeta, both of them are on transcending to the power of the gods, so they can be on that level. And as Goku said that he would in charge Oob as the main leader of the Earth's defense force, and Gohan and Piccolo could basically train him and make him more well, including Pan as well. So that development in terms of how to manage things on this scale, and not just that, because the development which they had in the tournament of power itself, they came across different warriors and different people. Like in Piccolo was able to meet the other Namekians as well. What if they have an arc which is related to those Namekians? That is also there in
I
other
would like
universes.
that. I would like that.
Yes, go on also because he's also a half saint. He'll also be related to see what were the history of the saints were before, how were they acted before. He'll be definitely interested in that. So it's not like these characters are they don't have any. It's not like they have no potential for any of the growth that they have plenty of potential. It's not just because Goku and Vegeta are just leagues above them. They have absolutely no potential to reach them. But that does not make any sense because they have potential to grow as people, as who they are, as characters, to grow forward and teaching the next generation on how to move forward as the Earth's Defense Force.
By the way, folks, this is being recorded in the Geekdom 101 Discord server. If you want to join the server, become a member at Tier 2, and maybe you can be a part of one of these conversations in the future. So I just wanted to get that plug out there. Anand, yeah, and I'm fine with that. Like, I would be okay with it. Now, I want to talk about the 3 fights thing that I talked about it in the stream a few days ago, that Gohan's going to have 3 fights in this movie, which I did not expect. I thought it was going to be 2 fights. I thought it was going to be the Gamma 1 and Gamma 2 2-on-1 battle, and then the final secret, maybe Cell, maybe not, finale or whatever, right? But now I'm wondering, does he fight Gamma 1 and 2 separate, or is it like, or is it a thing where Gamma 1 and 2 beat up on Gohan, and then Piccolo shows up, and then it's like a tag team match or a 2-on-2 where it's Gohan and Piccolo against Gamma 1, Gamma 2. That's fight number 2, and then fight number 3 is the finale. Or maybe, I don't know. I have a feeling based on the poster of the film that we are going to see Gohan and Piccolo fight together at some point in this film. They're going to fight together. I would assume, my prediction is that the Red Ribbon Army is going to launch a crap ton of vehicles at our heroes, which is what I actually want to see. Because there's nothing I love more than seeing machines get destroyed, hence buy my shirt. So having the good guys, including Broly, smashing a bunch of Red Ribbon tanks just for my own satisfaction of seeing lots of explosions, especially with the 16 by 2, 16 by 1 surround sound, that could be a great experience in the movie theater. We didn't really get that with Broly. Broly was just a bunch of fights, but seeing like going back to that classic Dragon Ball episodes where Goku invaded the Red Ribbon Army and just killed everybody, like, I would love to see that. And then that gives the side characters something to do. Like, it gives Goku, Vegeta, and Broly, they can just worry about those tanks or whatever, the whatever Red Ribbon craft, and then have Gohan and Piccolo focus on the real villain, or they could switch them around, whatever. So I'm not sure what the 3 fights are. So I'm gonna start this time with Jordan. Tell me your prediction on what these 3 Gohan fights are going to end up being.
I don't know. That's tough. I do
Prediction.
agree with you that I would like to see some tanks and aircraft and stuff get taken down. I would actually specifically like to see it happen with either Goku or Gohan, just because with Goku, it's like a callback, and with Gohan, it's like a father like son thing.
Well,
I would love to
also,
see that.
and to add to what you're saying, not to interrupt you, but Toriyama loves to draw vehicles. We know he loves to draw vehicles. He can come up with all kinds of kooky looking tanks and mechs, and we saw the Pilaf Robo. Maybe there's like a giant mech, like a Staff Officer Black's big mech from Dragon Ball. There's all kinds of cool stuff
Yeah.
they could throw in there, and just to be destroyed. Then, if they were smart, they'd release these things on as toys. I mean, dude, the money's. I look at Toei sometimes and Bandai, and I'm like. And they know how to make money. Who am I to tell them how to make money? But I'm like, you guys are kind of missing the boat here as far as how to really commercialize. We can sit here and make fun of like Disney and Sony and Warner Brothers. These companies know how to commercialize their stuff. I think Toei could take a piece of that and just release all these different figures and have us play with them. Not me, because I'm too old for it, but, kids. Anyways, Jordan, continue, bro.
Well, the only issue I have with that is Super is very it's very different in the sense that in Z and the original Dragon Ball, where they keep killing innocents to a minimum, like way more in comparison to they ever have. So it's just kind of hard for me to imagine that they would have a scene of Goku or Gohan just murdering a crap ton of River Army
Jordan.
people.
These are mechs that are remote controlled.
Oh, well then, yeah, that would be amazing. Yeah,
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Like, they don't have to have people in them.
Right. But yeah, that would be cool. But also keep in mind that Gohan and like Majin Buu was on that list of people
Right.
that they were going after. So was Hercule or Mr. Satan. My bad.
I'm done.
Mr. Satan. Look at his face,
You ought to be ashamed.
dude. It was worth it just to see your face. Okay. Anyway,
See, he crossed over the forbidden door.
Yes. I was just close.
but
Laser's gonna be the next one.
they're
bro.
going after a number of people. So
Yeah.
there's a lot of opportunity for Gohan to take on, Gamma 1 and 2 or whoever, They've got a long list of people to kidnap or mess with or whatever they're going to do. Right? So I mean, it's kind of hard to pinpoint exactly where the fights are. We know that Goten and Trunks are also going to be involved, so Goten and Trunks could get in trouble, and then Gohan comes in and helps them, right?
Well, Tanks, they'll make fat Go Tanks, and then they're like screwed, and then Gohan saves fat Go Tanks. Hey, I saved you again. That's twice I saved you. That's 2 times.
Exactly. I can totally see that.
And then Goten's gonna say, okay, but this time don't take forever to kill the villain, all right? Because remember what happened last time? Like, they just don't. See, that's, if I were writing it, I would totally have him say that. Just don't take forever this time. You screwed that up, because you screwed that up twice.
That would be really
anyway.
cool if this was a giant callback to the Buu saga. It would make a lot of sense. But yeah, this has aspects of the Buu saga in it, I would say. Probably also the Cell saga and like everything else. It seems like a conglomerate of a bunch of different sections of Dragon Ball Z, kind of like the Moro arc in a sense. But
Moro arc was definitely that. Yeah.
Yeah, but to be honest with you, it's just really like, even to me, it's honestly kind of surprising that Gohan only has 3 fights, because there's a lot of opportunities for him to fight in different points in the story.
I thought it was going to
so
be
it's
2
really
fights.
hard for me to make a prediction. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Like,
I mean, the thing that it was said at least 3 fights, so it could be 4, but I don't think he's gonna have like 5 or 6, but I could see maybe 4 or 5. But it's definitely it's no less than 3. And I thought it was gonna be 2. So you and I were on different wavelengths. I thought they were gonna save Gohan for the big finale and have Piccolo do a lot of the work, and maybe even like Krillin them, and then have Gohan come in. But now, because that's traditional Dragon Ball, like, they always have the weaker guys do the work first, and then here comes Goku, and then here comes Gohan. They always do that. Look at Resurrection F. It was like the same thing. They're over there fighting the minions, then here comes Goku Vegeta. They always do that. So I was thinking that, but I see where you're coming from. So
yeah, it's just, there's a lot we don't know about the movie, and I just think, there's a lot of opportunity for Gohan to fight, so it's just really hard for me to. But like I said, if it was going to be something, it would probably be like what you said, either the Red Ribbon stuff, him saving Gotenks, and then the fight. To me, it's obvious he's going to fight Gamma 1 and 2, and also the final villain.
it's in the trailer.
So those 2 are kind of a given. But as far as like the early fight, because I think that's what we're trying to figure out is like the early fight. Since I mean, he could have 4 fights, but early in the story, it's kind of hard to pinpoint how that's going to play out.
And I wonder if how that's going to relate to like the soldiers. We know he fights Red Ribbon soldiers, but that doesn't count. That's just a group of people. So he's going to have to go through a lot of guys. Laser Kid. So what do you think? Do you have a prediction on the three Gohan fights of the movie?
If I had to guess, knowing Dragon Ball, I think you're going to have 2 fights with Gamma 1 and 2, and I think one of them is going to be a botch. I think the first time he fights them, he is going to lose.
I like that
And-
idea. I like that
and then
idea, actually.
After
I like
that, he's
Yeah.
going to have to come back from that, and
I like
okay,
that.
redouble his efforts, come back, and then go after them, and then of course the final film. That's what I think is the most likely thing to happen.
I like
yeah,
that.
he shows up
actually.
all pissed because he lost. I would love
Well,
that.
Yeah, oh yeah.
yeah,
Well,
but
and,
that-
and not just lost, but the stakes that were at
Mhm.
for
With
the
Pan.
battle
Yeah.
with Pan. Maybe that's how she gets kidnapped.
Well, I don't know about that because I think they pretty much already given away how she gets kidnapped because of that scene
Oh,
where
yeah.
Gamma, where
he attacks
you know,
Piccolo at his home.
yeah, where he
She's
attacks
probably there.
Piccolo and Pan's there. But it's regardless of that, the fact that she's been kidnapped by the Red Ribbon Army and he fights one of them who kidnapped her and loses, he would still come into the next fight super determined and
Mhm.
angered. So it still works out.
Anand, what do you think? Do you have a prediction?
Well, to give like a wild guess or something, so what I had in mind is, of course, the 2 given fights is definitely he's going to fight Gamma 1 and 2 and the final villain. But Ioku also mentions that what differentiates this movie from the previous is that Broly was one individual, but the Red Ribbon Army is that it's going to be like a war-like kind of situation. So I'm
That's what
thinking that
I'm staying interrupted. That's what I want to see. Broly was just one guy. I want to see the entire Red Ribbon like base, and there's a huge battle there with everybody. That's what I want.
Exactly.
That's exactly what I want.
exactly
Give me my
that is what
explosions.
Exactly, that's what Ioku also is hinting at. It's going to be more like a war field of bunch of Red Ribbon soldiers, and all those people is going to come and raging on, let's say, Gohan and Piccolo, and they have to either fight one-on-one or just to go and blast out everyone else before they fight the main villain. That's what I'm thinking as well. And coming to Gohan, whether he would lose any of the things, it's a possibility because he still has to work on his training, whether he will reveal his ultimate form, his full potential. That is later on. It's not really sure whether he's going to completely go all out in the first fight itself. I'm not sure because we don't know exactly where the time stamps is going to happen. So I'm just saying, like, in this, maybe not this particular order, but I'm just hoping that Gohan, Gamma 1 and 2, the full charade of the Red Ribbon Army, just like how Goku, just went ballistics against the Red Ribbon Army. Like, it do a cool homage saying, Goku, just like his son, basically doing the same thing of what Goku kind of did in the OG Dragon Ball as well. But considering that, the producer also mentions that there'll be a lot of slice of life elements as well. So I don't think there'll be more fights to this. Maybe mostly in the second half though. But
Second
I don't
half.
think there'll be I don't think there'll be a lot of fights. So I think 3 is a good number to just make sense because they're saying like it's not going to be like it's going to be completely different from what Broly did. So Broly had a lot of fights, especially in the second half, was full on. So considering there's a lot of slice of life elements is going to be there, I don't think there'll be like a ballistics of fights here and there, so many places like this.
Yeah. That's why the 3 fights thing was like Jordan thought it was too little, and I thought it was too much. Well, I didn't think it's too much, but I was surprised because you hear the slice of life thing, some of the movies like that, but they could be like smaller fights. I mean, who knows? So before we wrap it up, one last topic I want to get through with y'all is the Cell rumor. So, if I did it like the OJ book, if Cell is in this movie, it's obvious that they're setting this up to be like, hey, in Resurrection F, Goku fought Frieza as a throwback to the Namek arc. Hey, in this movie, Gohan might fight this recreated Cell or Cell with a surviving Cell Junior or Cell with like a new version of Cell with the same blueprints as before. I feel like before we get to that topic, I want to say one thing about something you said, Anon. What needs to happen in this movie is that the Red Ribbon Army has to study what Goku and the others have done in the past and figure out ways to stop it. For example, Goku obviously knew Ki, he knew martial arts. Red Ribbon Army now, this new Red Ribbon Army has to have weaponry to combat that. I want it to be a case where like Gohan fires a ki blast on a Red Ribbon base and a force field appears and it blocks the ki blast. Something like that where it's like, oh shit, this ain't gonna be so easy. Like that's what we need to see. We need to see mechs that aren't just disposable. You know, Goku can punch it and then or headbutt it and then I would love it if Goku headbutted it and then sold his head like how he used to do in Dragon Ball. Like, like he used to do that back in the day. Like, these things are a lot harder than I remembered because then you have Dr. Hito say some shit like, well, they've been reinforced with Kachin metal or some shit. Oh, shit. Now we got a real problem. Like, remember how in Star Wars, if you watch the prequels, the droids started developing more anti-lightsaber technology? That's what we have to see in this movie with Red Ribbon. They have to figure out ways of getting around Ki, besides just Gamma 1 and 2. But let's talk about Cell real quick. This seems to be, like I said, a setup for the Gohan Cell rematch, which I don't think anybody really wanted to see that. I did not care because I think the story of Cell and Gohan was already told. There's no reason to have a rematch. Goku and Frieza, that one, Frieza's my favorite character. I was a little bit more okay with it because Frieza's the kind of guy who just won't give up, and they brought him back. But this is going to be this won't be the same Cell. It'll be like a recreated Cell or a clone Cell or something like that with the memories of the original Cell. Or so we assume if it is Cell. What do you think they're going to do with Cell this time? If it is Cell, to differentiate him from the previous Cell, besides just the power boost, what do you think will make him different this time? I'm going to start with Anon this time.
Right. So Cell, of course, the main portion of his power is the DNA of so many people that came before him. All the
Give him Majin Buu's DNA. No, go ahead.
That's could be it's a possibility though, because the reason why they mentioned all these characters in the first, not just about showing that they could be bad guys to the
Gamma 1
the
and 2.
androids with the
Gammas,
image,
yeah.
the gammas. So
Yeah.
not just that, but also to show like how they can use their own powers against them by getting all of their information about them along with their DNA in a sense, but recreating an android who not only can use their techniques or use their powers totally against them in their own wish in a way that they will not probably anticipate, but in a way that still what he did is like after he got resurrected, like after he blew up along with King Kai's planet, he came back and he had techniques like instant transmission. He was able to charge up more ki compared to before. So in this case, whether he would have something completely different from what we have seen so far, because the way that he means Dr. Gero basically reacted when the room was basically exploding, like some kind of thing was going on. It was completely similar to how Majin Buu was getting reset, the whole shape of the
You mean
entire
Dr.
thing.
Hito?
Yeah, sorry, Dr. Hito. Sorry.
Okay, yeah, okay. In the trailer, yeah, because I thought you were talking about Garo from the. Okay, yeah, go ahead.
No. I got my
Just
the
clarifying,
names
yeah.
confused.
At the
Yeah,
end of the
sure.
trailer, yeah, it's almost like he loses control.
Right, exactly. So it was not, it was kind of like, Dr. Gero's like, losing controls of the androids,
Hito.
Android 17 and 18.
Oh wait, Ghetto. Okay,
No,
I'm sorry. Okay,
yeah.
now you didn't mess up. Okay, I thought you had done it again. Never mind. Go ahead.
So he lost control with there also. Okay, he losing control here, but in a more, Dr. Gero lost control in terms of their personalities and basically got himself killed. But here, would he do something like that? It's a possibility, but it's not going to be like, definitely, as you say, it's not going to be like the Cell, which exactly what fans can. It's going to be definitely like a recreated Cell, something like a hybrid sort of a thing, like a Majin Buu or another character sort of hybrid, so that it's kind of like that, but it's not exactly like that as well. But also, I'm thinking that they would have some certain elements like using their we had in the Morag, we had an android like 7-3 who was copying their techniques and using them as good as them. So what I was thinking is that they can have the experience which they kind of gain and probably use them against them in their own will. That's what I'm thinking.
Now I'm gonna say this before we go to Jordan. Well, I'm gonna go to Laser then Jordan. If it is Cell, it's not gonna make sense if it's a Cell that doesn't recognize Gohan. This Cell, they have to have that history still because if not, it's not gonna be the same. So they would have to figure out a way to either they could do a thing where Cell. Now this would be awesome. This is just me writing fanfiction right now. Cell, and this is like transhumanism shit. He uploads a backup of his memory onto some hard drive somewhere in another laboratory, and they use that, like, he does that somehow before his fight with well, no, he couldn't do that because he gets killed in that fight. So you know what, I don't know what they're gonna do. They could probably just take blood from like where Gohan killed him or whatever. There has to be, in other words, there has to be some kind of recognizable, like, they have to recognize each other. Even though I think that Gohan has more animosity towards Cell than Cell has towards Gohan, right? Still, like, I feel like it would make more sense if they knew each other. So Laser
I mean,
Kid,
once I just want to mention that it's not exactly off the mark when you said that you can use this, because remember that in the bonus chapter, the Cell Juniors are still there.
right?
So
That was weird. That was weird the way they did that. Yeah, in the
yeah,
manga.
exactly. Yeah, in the manga, exactly. So they could probably use some of that chip or any of that DNA basically to use someone. It's not exactly off the mark, but yeah, it's a
No,
possibility.
and that's a popular fan theory that it's one of the Cell Juniors that survived, and they enhanced it with the new Red Ribbon tech. There has to be new Red Ribbon tech in this movie. Like, it doesn't make sense. This cannot be the same Red Ribbon that they fought in Dragon Ball. It can't, because it was too easy. It was too fucking easy. They have to have new tech here to where it's not going to be that easy. Laser Kid, your thoughts on Cell, and even your thoughts on the new tech thing.
Well, I think that you're dead on the new tech. It has to be something different, and new. I mean, we already saw this with Dr. Garo in the Cell arc. He learned from the defeat of the Red Ribbon. And for him, it was, okay, well, the thing that I can do to make this better is make more deadly androids that are going to go after Goku. Which ultimately culminated in Cell. And on that note of learning from past mistakes, if we're dealing with the same Cell, at least in mind, I think we're going to see a difference in personality slightly. Because Cell in the Cell arc was all about showing how he is the perfect being, and he's going to prove it to you all, and he was doing some pretty arrogant... He's a narcissist. He was doing some pretty arrogant and self-defeating choices to show off. If this is the same guy, at this point, he has been so humiliated and destroyed. He's not going to hold back. He's not going to play games. He's just going to go for the throat.
I hope so. I hope so.
I hope so too.
I hope so.
Because that would be how you'd grow that character. Alternatively, the other thing you could do and still keep some level of recognition, if we're doing the Cell Junior thing, we could almost go a Ma Junior route and have a Cell that's not Cell but is Cell that is trying to avenge their father, and that builds animosity. And the Cell Juniors did beat the heck out of the Z Fighters, so even if it's not Cell, there could still be some animosity between Gohan and the Cell Junior for sure.
Well, not just that, but they could also retcon it to where there were other spy robots watching the Cell game and nobody was paying attention to them. Mm-hmm. And so the Red Ribbon backup, the backup people were recording the entire Cell fight, and they have footage of Gohan killing Cell from the spy robot, and then the new Cell can see it and be like, okay, well, that's not going to happen this time. There's ways they can get around it, and I don't even hate that idea because, okay, geek them into retcon, but Dragon Ball is built on retcons. Dragon Ball Super's existence is a retcon because this wasn't supposed to happen when the manga ended. And then Toriyama chose to come back and visit the story again. So I don't think having a retcon like that is it lazy? Maybe a little bit, but it fits with, like, in other words, there's been worse retcons than this one in this show, is what I'm trying to say. So,
well, I mean, Dr. Garo and the whole artificial human program was a major retcon throwback to Red Ribbon. So that's kind of part of the storytelling in general when it comes to Cell.
Yeah.
Right. I mean, the thing is that a lot of times when you come back to a franchise after X number of years, you're gonna have to retcon stuff. Like even in Star Wars, like look at Star Wars. You know, when it ended with Return of the Jedi, the Empire was dead. Now we find out no, there's the Imperial Remnant, and it does kind of make sense. You're not gonna just eliminate the Empire with one guy being killed. You're gonna have bureaucrats and people who are gonna support the. I mean, that all made sense. So you can do retcons that make logical sense. And to me, having more spy robots does make sense. Maybe that's how they found out about Majin Buu. For all we know, and this will be a game changer, maybe they got DNA from the fight with Goku versus Beerus. Maybe they have Beerus DNA inside this fucking Cell thing. Then they're really in trouble. The Beerus fanboys are going to really wank off this character. But Jordan, what do you think, bro, about this, the return of Cell, if it happens? If I did it.
I got a few things I'd like to touch up on. First off, I really like your idea about the fight between Gohan and Cell being recorded and that being used to like motivate this new Cell to fight. I really like that idea. I just wanted to comment on that. I thought that was cool.
We're gonna get a CGI version of the Cell games, bro. People aren't gonna like that. Gonna like
the first
that.
thing I want to point out is the chamber that this new thing is being made in is an egg. It's an egg. It's like not an egg shape in like, you know, the stereotypical sense, but you know,
it looks like an egg, a mechanical egg.
Yeah, it's just like Majin Buu's chamber. It's just it looks like an egg, you know, probably for the same reasons as Toriyama always does it, a reference to Journey to the West, because you know Sun Wukong came from a stone egg, right? So like he just uses that over and over and over again. So that's one thing I'd like to point out to kind of help speculate about what this villain is, because he's coming from an egg, and Cell, he never came from an egg, so it kind of throws me off.
No, he did.
And another thing,
you forgot about the larva form.
Yeah, but that's not really an egg.
It's not an egg, but it's kind of eggish.
One of the biggest
yolk
differences between Gamma 1 and 2 and 17 and 18 is the fact that not only are they completely artificial, but they also don't really have the same free will that 17 and 18 have. They've been completely programmed to think that they are superheroes and that they are doing the right thing, yada, yada, yada. I think that is probably this. It would seem to me that Dr. Hero would have the same goal with his latest creation. I don't think he would create Gamma 1 and 2 and then create an android that he can't control. Now, don't get me wrong. I do think within the film he's going to fail. They've kind of made that obvious by the fact that he's freaking out because the thing's being made and there's kind of too much power coming from it. But I do think that he made it with the intentions of being able to control it, right? So that, in a sense, kind of puts it kind of messes with the idea that Cell and Gohan are going to have this fight where, you know, they have this animosity towards each other and they recognize each other and all this stuff. Using the Cell Juniors does kind of make sense as well. But honestly, I think this thing is just going to be way wilder than any of us can imagine.
I hope
if I'm
so.
being real honest
I
with you.
hope so.
I hope so as well.
I hope so.
I think this is just going to be a really wild Toriyama thing that's probably not been. I mean, it's going to be similar to Cell because, like you've pointed out, Cell was the height of achievement for the Red Ribbon Army. That was the closest they ever got to taking down Goku, Gohan, everyone else.
And they did.
And
take
they're
out
aware
Goku,
of that.
Technically.
Right. So they are aware of that, you know, more. So I could see why they'd want to make another Cell-like creature, but I do think that this thing is going to be made in a similar way to Gamma 1 and 2, but way more complicated, way more power put into it. You know what I mean?
And
like,
I also think that Gamma 1 and 2 are not going to be told about it. This is a top secret project that nobody knows about except for the top Red Ribbon guys. So if they're still alive, when this dude comes out and maybe absorbs them, they're going to be like, what the hell is that? And then Hito could be like, well, in case you failed, I got this. That's
I don't
classic
know if
storytelling.
Yeah, I don't know if you watched the latest Super Dragon Ball Heroes stream about a week or two ago, but they kind of low-key gave away that Gamma 1 and 2 are going to be good guys within the film. Because there's the special technique that Gamma 1 and 2 use within Super Dragon Ball Heroes requires 3 other players or 3 other characters to team up with them and all 5 of them attack together, which to me is kind of a hint that...
That's Heroes, man. But I see what you think.
But yeah, to me, that's a hint that Gamma 1 and 2 are actually going to end up working with.
Or that there's going to be Gamma 3, 4, and 5.
There could be. I mean, that wouldn't shock me. But I think it's more likely just based on the theme of Game 1 and 2, the fact that they think that they're superheroes. And like you said, they have no idea about this new project. So let's just say they find out about this new project and they're like, whoa, wait a minute. What is the Red Ribbon Army really? What are we really doing? Are we really superheroes? You know what I mean? Like, because if they found out about something that destructive that exists and they're working so hard to paint everybody else as bad guys, you know, uh, it's kind of counterproductive for them to have this villain that exists that's extremely destructive and evil to continue controlling Gamma 1 and 2. That just doesn't really make any sense. And like we've seen, Dr. Hito, the machine is going haywire. He's kind of freaking out because he really doesn't know what to do. So I don't think that this thing's going to be under anyone's control.
Good.
I think that this thing's going to be kind of just this wild Frankenstein of a thing that Dr. Hito made that goes beyond his control. That just makes the most sense to me. And like I said, I believe that he's made the same way that Gamma 1 and 2 are, which honestly should probably tell you a lot about what the design possibilities are. But the fact that he might also be Cell-esque as far as like having traits of the other characters, whenever I try to imagine what the new big villain would look like, I always try to imagine, a conglomerate of the characters mixed with Gamma 1 and 2 in a sense. Like the way that Gamma 1 and 2 is made to be like silver. He's made of like a substance that I'm assuming is really hard for the Z fighters to just destroy.
It can't be
right.
easy.
Right. So whenever I try to imagine the character, that's kind of where my mind goes. I'm like, well, they made Gamma 1 and 2 this way. The latest character will probably be similar to that. He'll be made of that gray, whatever Gamma 1 and 2 are made out of. He'll probably have aspects of each character, because that's what works.
Will he absorb them? Is it going to be one of those things
again? If it has the traits of Boo, I could totally see him absorbing it. Like if he's like a gray, if he's like a silver, like if he can turn into a liquid, kind of like the Terminator.
Liquid metal, T-1000.
Yeah. If he can do that kind of like the Terminator, then I could totally see him absorbing Gamma 1 and 2. But honestly, it may not be necessary because, I mean, look at Gamma 1 and if you look at the chamber that Gamma 1 and 2 are made in, it's very small in comparison to this latest villain. This latest villain's got this giant, and if you look at the chambers that they're made in, they also have a select number of tubes going to the chambers where they're being created, whereas this big chamber has like tons of stuff going to it. So whatever they put into this android, it's like probably the same as Game 1 and 2 as far as like the content, but as far as like the amount, it's probably way like they put way more power into this than they did Gamma 1 and 2. So.
Right. Well, with that,
and I do think that Dr. Hito has new advanced technology in comparison to Dr. Gero. I think that kind of goes without saying. He has to, because if he doesn't, then why are these things giving him any problem? Right. So, that's just kind of how I feel about it.
Right. Well, I'm going to close out the recording. I want to thank y'all for being here, Laser, Jordan, and Anand. Let us know in the comments what you thought about this little roundtable thing and all the different topics that we discussed in the show. Thank you, and I'll catch you in the next one.